I actually felt empowered when I came to know that classes has been added in ES6. But soon came the realization that this is not true. Then what does that mean? That means even if you are defining a class like this on the right side, it is actually a function in the backend. No class entity as such has been added to ES6. Then what ES6 has added? It has just added some syntaxes to define the same thing with more generic keywords. Everything related to the implementation of class, the prototypal inheritance remains same. Today, I'll take you through all of these syntaxes and the implementation details that are more important than understanding the syntax itself. And I assume that you are aware of the old implementation of class in JavaScript using function. Then let's see how we can convert this old into the new one. Firstly, you need not use the function keyword. You have new class keyword for defining a class now. And then for defining constructor, you have a different method now in which you can define your properties. And then you have methods. So this method will also be added to the prototype like the method on the left hand side. But there's a difference between this method one and this method one. So firstly, on right side, this method is actually a method, and on the left side it is a function. So there's a difference between method and a function. First and basic difference is a method doesn't use the function keyword like on the left hand side. The second and more important difference is method will have a new home object property set to it that will point to the current class, and that will help you use the super keyword inside of the method. So you can use this super keyword to call a function on the parent, and this thing will not be possible inside of a function. And then you can use getter setter now. Just remember these things, that a getter can't have any argument attached to it. If you just define any, it will throw an error. And setter will only have one argument, and these can be just these can be accessed just like a property. So if you have student1 as an object and then you are accessing the name, so this will go to the getter function and give you the returned value. And then we have static methods. Static methods are actually utility methods for the class. So these are not for the object, so you can't access it for the object. So for example, student1 dot age difference will not work, so you need to access it on the class itself, student dot age difference, and then you can pass let's say different methods of the same class. So it will this method will return you the difference of age between the two students. And then you can see the new and compare it with the old implementation of the static function on the left. And now I have a question for you. What I want you to do is I want you to add method 2 like this on the left side to the class on the right side. So how you can do that, just think about it and I'll explain in a second. So as I explained earlier, that nothing has changed about the implementation of a class. It will still be a function in the backend. So you can exactly use the same thing over here as well. So that will define method 2 on the class. But then there's an issue with this. Can you notice that? So this method 2 is actually a function, not a method like method 1. And now my question is how you can define method 2 as a method on the class after you're done with the definition of the class. And the answer is that is not possible. So you can't add a method after you're done with the class definition. So now I'll take you through an overview of what to use and what not to use inside of a class. So for defining class, these parentheses are not required. And then you can't add any statement inside of a class. You need not use comma after the functions. You can't use the function keyword as well inside the class. You can add these statements whatever you want inside of any of these functions, so that will not be any issue, but you can't add those inside the class itself. And then inside class use strict will automatically be there. You need not add, just remember that it is being added automatically by the definition of class. And then all the other stuff I have already explained. And that's all for today, guys. And if you guys have learned something, you must be having a lot of questions. And if you are not having a lot of questions, I suggest you to try implement a student class the old way and then try to change it to the new syntax. Don't look at this class, just try to do it by yourself, and then you can just pause the video at that point and take a look. So try converting this old syntax to the newer version. And I'm sure that you'll have a lot of questions after that. You can mention those in the comments, and you can give your suggestions for newer videos in the comments. And in this video I have not covered super properly, and then I have not covered inheritance as well as mixins, so I'll be making another video for that, so stay tuned.